Hi, everybody. Welcome to something new. With all of this time spent indoors during the quarantine for the COVID-19, I've had a lot of time, as all of you have, to rethink things. So I have come up with something new to offer you that I'm excited about because it's actually more true to my heart and the way I think and the way I work. So I'm going to bring you the full moon tarot and the new moon tarot readings instead of weeklies. You'll still get a monthly overview of the tarot of the month and the overall energy of the month. And after that, it's going to be the full moons and the new moons. So I'm going to combine a 3-card tarot reading and the chart. So we're combining tarot and astrology on the full and the new moons. And this just rings true for me because this is how I work and how I think, and I'm going to just bring it to you the way I would look at it for myself if I were in my own living room. The second part is that I am now on Patreon. If anyone hasn't checked me out, please look at Catherine, Clairvoyant Medium Catherine Allen on Patreon. So Patreon is to subscribe to a whole bunch of stuff that I'm offering to people on a monthly basis. So there's different levels you can join. If you want an extended version of the tarot reading of the month or the new and full moon readings, the extended reading is going to be on Patreon. If you want to get intuition training and lessons and exercises to do, that's going to be on Patreon. I'm still going to read to you from my book, a little bit of intuition, and have little videos going on that are free. And after that, if you want to dive in and really train, that's going to be to subscribe. And the third thing to mention that I'm excited about that's new, again with Patreon, is I'm going to bring you my courses this way. So what we're going to do, excuse me, is I'm going to start teaching astrology on Patreon, and I'm going to do it based on the sign that we're in at the time. So it's a 12-month course. It's a year. So we're still in the sign of Aries. I'm going to be bringing you everything to do with Aries. You're going to get the most detailed lesson about each sign, including things that are not usually mentioned in most popular readings online and descriptions. And I'm going to bring you, what does it mean if your rising sign is Aries? What does it mean if your moon sign is Aries? What does it mean if your Mercury, your Venus, your Mars, your Pluto is in Aries? So we're going to super dive into one sign, and you're going to learn about the sign really well, and you're going to learn how to interpret it and learn your planets at the same time. So I'm super excited because, again, it's in alignment with the planets. The way I'm going to do the readings and the way I'm going to do the teaching is in alignment with actually what's going on in the heavens. And that makes me feel pretty good. So if you want to subscribe to any of that and jump in on my classes, please do. It's Patreon. Oh, one last thing that I'm also offering there too. Not on Patreon, but separately. I'm going to have an emailed course to learn the tarot coming up very shortly. Again, this is going to be like a year-long course. It takes about a year at least to really learn your tarot. In all honesty, it probably takes longer before you really know it and you're really well-versed and you know all your cards and you know all your spreads and you know how to interpret things side by side, and you know how to answer questions, how to handle people, whether you're doing it professionally or even just for friends, how to handle yourself well so that you don't hurt people's feelings, but you're still being true. I'm going to cover all of that in my tarot course. It's going to be, as I said, an online thing that you sign up, and the videos will come to you in your inbox. So I will definitely let you know about that when the time comes and it's ready to sign up, and it will be soon. All right, so let's go to our full moon reading, which is happening April 7th in the sign of Libra. First of all, I'm going to burn my sage as always. If you want to burn sage, it's a great time to cleanse the energy because it's pretty heavy everywhere. All right, and we also smudge the cards. You can do this with any object that you wish that you want to cleanse the object. Clothing, gemstones, pair of glasses, doesn't matter. All right, so we're focusing on the new moon, the full moon in Libra, and the chart of the full moon, and we're going to see what does this month bring. What does this full moon cycle bring us? That's about it's sort of 2 weeks. It's a few days where it's intense, you know, a few days before and a few days after you feel the full moon. So you might be feeling it now because we're a couple days ahead as I'm doing this video. And you might feel it all the way up until the 10th or 11th. Some people, the effects of the full moon can last a while if it really brings up something for you. But full moons provoke a lot of intense emotions. Sometimes they provoke some closure, some conflict at times. So it all depends what's happening for you, how long the effects last, and what sign you are also affects whether it's hitting you more than another sign. So the sun is in Aries, the moon is in Libra. So anybody with Aries and Libra strongly in your chart, this time of year, the full moon affects you more. Also, anybody who has it in squaring signs. So if you have prominent planets, your moon, your sun, your rising, something in Cancer, these two planets square it off, so you're going to feel some movement in your life. And if you're a Capricorn, on top of everything else that's going through Capricorn, which I'll talk about in a minute, Capricorn, you're also squaring off both of those signs. So you would expect to see some change, decisions, or movement in your life, because these are cardinal signs, which are leadership signs. And that means there's action taken, and there's battle of strong wills going on. And yeah. Now, first we're going to look at the cards for this full moon cycle. So the first card is the Ace of Cups. Second card is the Moon. How apropos. And the last card is the Queen of Pentacles, or Discs. So, Ace of Cups is a new project, or a new love, or a new friendship, or simply, just simply an opening of your heart, an opening of your emotions, an opening of your creative spirit. So, the thing that it's saying, though, is the Moon is a sensitive card to what it's next to. So, the Moon card here, as you can see, it's pretty shadowy. You have these two sort of, what do you even call them, you know? They're Egyptian looking. And they're sort of dog-headed humans that are at two different towers, and they're sort of creating like a doorway or a gateway. And the towers that they stand by and guard are quite dark, right? But beyond it, you can see a lot of light. And below the surface, if you see the line, you have a scarab below holding the sun, and it's very bright down there. So it's sort of a card of like the shadow side of people, the unconscious hidden side of you or others. And it's supposed to come to light. Now, a lot of people feel uncomfortable when things come to light, but that's also the only way that we are able to heal anything or understand it, is if we shine the light on it. If we keep it in the dark, it just keeps operating behind the scenes like a program that's running in the back of your computer, and you don't know it's there. But if you know that it's there, now you can decide if you want it there, or if you want to clean the program, right? So this is what's happening either within you or people close to you. It's sort of ironic to see, you know, an opening of love or creativity. It might seem that way. Or an opening of your heart, and then see this shadowy stuff, because you think, oh no, I'm opening my heart. It should all be good. It should all be happy, joy, joy. But no. Unfortunately, or fortunately, the way that humans and emotions work is that you will, you know, you have a breakthrough or a high or a burst of love, and then that energy of love and light will actually just sort of shine brighter on anything that isn't healed. And that's why people feel so defeated. It's like, oh, I was feeling so good and in love, why do I feel so crappy now? Like, why has it changed? Why am I seeing, you know, everything was so good. Why are they suddenly depressed? Why am I suddenly scared? Why, you know, this is all just because we all have a lot of things going back all the way to childhood or even prenatal or past lives. If you subscribe to that, there is always something layer by layer by layer that will ask you to be healing it or seeing it. But it doesn't mean we shut down our creative spirit and shut down to love. But we have to manage it, as you know, in a way that we can handle it so we don't overwhelm ourselves all the time. But if you're feeling like suddenly you have these days where you're feeling high and super expressive and, oh my God, I've got an amazing ideas, or I just want to say hello to somebody, or open up a story about your life to someone that you haven't in a while, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're hit, boom, with this funky, weird behavior, weird reactions, weird dreams, suddenly feeling, not sure I did the right thing. Could I trust this person? This might be somebody's trust issues. This might be somebody's secrets. This might be some old trauma. We don't know. But there's something lurking, and it doesn't mean it's bad. And I would encourage people to reach out and talk to somebody if you need some help with it. If you're seeing it in others and they're acting sort of inexplicably weird, or they just seem to have disappeared, you know, this can be why, you know, fear of the shadow, fear of what they've been hiding, fear of what could come up, fear of a loss of control, all kinds of things with the Moon card. Then the interesting thing here is we've got the Queen of Discs who shows up at the end of it, and she's very, you can see she's looking out through her sort of leafy archway, and she's surveying her lands, you know, and she's very well protected. She's holding this sphere, which you could say she holds the world in her hands. You could say the sphere represents her material wealth, possibly. She's got these huge horns spinning to the sky. Whenever you see that, usually it's a sign of someone's wisdom or connection to divinity, when something is spiraling, and certainly when it's pointing upwards to the heavens. So this is a wise lady. And she also, if you see, she's got a ram in front of her who is pretty much like her guardian dog, you know, and this ram is looking at you like, really? What do you want? Do you really need to talk to her right now? So this could be somebody around who's quite wise, but also very self-protective. She can be very generous, or she could be greedy. Depends on the aspect of her. And because we have the Moon card there, I think it's asking all of you to take a look at, you know, who is this woman representing to you? And is she showing her open heart and her generous, wise spirit, or is she showing you her sort of greedy or suspicious or closed off, arm's lengthing kind of side? Because she can be that too. So this could be anybody. This could be your boss. This could be your mother. It could be anybody that, and it could also be you, even if it's a female card, if you're relating to it. But the overall theme with this reading of this full moon for the cards anyway is that it's going to bring to light, it's going to bring up some emotion that is probably loving and wants to connect. And then it's going to show you either your own fears in connecting, or it's going to show you the people around you you're trying to connect with, if they have fear or they're like acting weird or suddenly pulling away, you have to just try to be patient. This is their fear coming up. They're afraid of connecting. Or you ask yourself, am I afraid of connecting? And we're going to have to look at that. And the Queen of Discs is somebody who's going to have boundaries about connection. And you might have to ask yourself, am I walling myself off? Do I have too many boundaries where I'm not letting myself connect to people enough? Am I really lonely right now? Like, despite the quarantine, you be honest, like, you might have been this way. Your life might not be that much different, because we have social media to keep in touch with all our friends. So if you see that you're really isolated and lonely, maybe you've set your boundaries way too far and nobody can get in your door. Maybe it's time to open your door just a crack and let some more people in your life. And the opposite is true. If you've got good boundaries in your life with your social relationships or your family or whatever, then you might be feeling quite good, quite secure right now, and you might have the proper headspace or strength to really be navigating and giving other people space if they're having their issues come up. So it's really a lot about relationships with this full moon. So I'm going to go to the astrology now. So now we're going to go into the astrology part of the new moon reading, full moon reading. So, and I do need to look down at my notes for this one because there's a lot going on. I need to look at the chart. I will post the chart down below in the comments, wherever you're seeing this, for you to look at. And I do my charts at astro.com, just in case. So let's go to some basics about full moons. So whenever there's a full moon, it means that the full moon is in the opposite sign of the sun. So when there's a full moon and we're in Aries, the full moon is in Libra. If we're in Taurus, the full moon is in Scorpio. If we're in Gemini, the full moon is in Sagittarius, and etc. So this is why sometimes full moons are so intense. First of all, you have the gravity. The moon will affect the gravity and the tides and the water levels and on the planet, and therefore it is pulling and drawing and expanding the water and therefore emotion in our physical bodies as well. And because we are all connected, we might feel fine, but the people around us might not. And so we still feel it because it's a collective thing. The moon affects the whole planet. So you can't sit there and say that you separately are detached from that. Well, it's affecting everyone else. And, this last few weeks has certainly shown us that with the coronavirus, that we can't just say, oh, yeah, that happens across the world. That doesn't happen over here anymore. This virus in its own horrible way has brought the world together to show us that we are all connected very quickly, actually, by how fast this all spread globally. So try to remember that feeling that we are one, because that's a positive thing to be aware of and to carry with you. So we are also one under the influence of the moon. So the full moon accentuates and exemplifies the energy of that particular sign. And it is in opposition to the sun. So this is why full moons are very intense. Sometimes the full moon will bring out conflicts and strong reactions and strong moods. And for some people, it might bring out like bloating, a sense of wanting to just be weepy. For some people, crying for no reason. Some people feel other symptoms intensify at the full moon. So we might want to be watchful of that, and just be mindful about how much you see in the news and how you react to it over the next few days when there's a full moon, given what's going on in the world. If you're empathic, you're probably feeling, you know, an overwhelm from all of the emotion going on at a full moon. So this month we have the sun in Aries, which represents the self. Me, myself, and I. And it can be, in its bad aspect, it can be me, 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 me. But in its good aspect, the Aries is the warrior. And Aries is a pioneer. Aries will initiate. They will be the one to say, hey, let's go do this. They won't wait. They'll just do it. Aries is the one that if they see something happening on the sidewalk, they just run and fix it. They don't ask and analyze it and wait and wonder. They just go. So they're spontaneous. Libra, the full moon is in Libra. Libra is here to, like the scales. What's fair? What's equal? What's really the right thing to do? Who you know, who wins? Who should win? Can't everybody win? They want to bring harmony. They want to find what's fair, and they are here in their higher aspect, like the Justice card, to have weighed things and to have made a detached, fair, rational decision. Most of the time, Libra is not at that kind of state. That's a more mature kind of Libra thing that happens maybe as you get older. What usually happens with Libra then is you get people who are very social, and they like to have lots of people around. They don't like to go very deep with their emotions. They like to talk about current events. They like to discuss other people. They like to constantly discuss what's fair and what's not fair, and what's going on and what should be done. And in their good side, you know, they will negotiate and bring people together and mediate, and they'll make peace, or they'll help other people understand another point of view, or they will help, you know, the underdog in the situation. And in their shadow side, they can be very gossipy, and they can meddle with everything and get in the middle of everybody's business. So with a full moon, you might see the good side and the bad side of both playing out. But the core thing that we're dealing with astrologically, when you have the full moon in Libra and even the full moon in Aries in October, twice a year, do I think of myself or do I please other people? Do I put myself first? Should I do what I want, what's good for me, or should I do what's good for the group? And we're definitely seeing that when it comes to even just whether we're staying home, whether we're social distancing. Are you thinking of yourself and what you need, or are you thinking of the group, the collective? So we're challenged on that this month. So if you would like to see the full report astrologically with all the planets and how they play out, then you will subscribe on Patreon, so you can follow the link and you can get the entire astrology report for the new moon, for this full moon. All right, I really wish you well. And if you need a consultation, I'm here to work online, as are many people. But if you feel you resonate with this on any level, I am here to work with you on Zoom or by phone, Facebook Messenger, video, whatever, WhatsApp. We'll find each other, and I can help you through this time and help you make some decisions or have clarity about people. So you can reach me at river-rain.com, clairvoyant medium Catherine Allen on Facebook, and Catherine River Rain on Instagram. And the link to Patreon's below. And please share and subscribe if you like this. Have a wonderful full moon.